Hi, everyone. Welcome to our market update. I mean, the exciting thing probably about today's market update is the Fed just met a couple days ago. And if you probably Google, or maybe it's just my algorithm, the Fed market update has been all over the place on my platform. So let's just get started. Give the people what they want, David.
Give the people what they want? Free money?
Well,
Yeah.
that
I
would
mean,
definitely be free money.
I'm just kidding, Vinnie. Nobody wants free money unless you're in California. So, I mean, what happened? Me and Vinnie, we've been talking about this for a while. I think we could go back 6 months. I predicted a half a basis point cut that I'm on record, and I'm on record on video. And the Fed delivered a half a basis point cut. So something that's key that people should really understand is the Fed doesn't decide what interest rates are. The Fed decides what it charges banks to lend money. And then the banks in turn mark the money up a little bit. That's how that works. And if you really want to get a bigger picture of it, mortgage rates actually follow the 10-year treasury. So yes, did the half a basis point make mortgage rates go down? Not really, but the bond market did go down, and that made mortgage rates plummet.
Well, let's get clarity, right? So and correct me if I'm wrong, it's the idea that the Fed was going to do it, right? The idea that the Fed was going to cut 50 basis point helped out with basically the bond market and the mortgage rates.
It really helps, but the key thing I'm trying to explain, not getting as technical to make it confusing, is so if banks offer a certain, so the Fed cuts the amount of money it's going to charge banks to borrow by 0.5%. Now that means that banks can only reward consumers with a smaller amount of interest that they save. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then in turn, people go now by the 10-year treasury because they get a higher rate of interest. The more people that buy the 10-year treasury, the lower it pushes its interest rate down, and that's what mortgage rates follow.
I think that
cut is dry. Like it's a little more technical out there, and I don't want to make things confusing, but that's probably the simplest way I can describe it is mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury, and the lower banks pay you as a consumer interest, the more people put their money into the 10-year treasury, which pushes its value down, and mortgage rates follow right down with it because that's considered a 10-year stable investment.
Gotcha.
Sorry, it's kind of confusing and boring.
No, not at all. I mean, there's so much misinformation out there that people don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people reach out to me about, oh, hey, the Fed just basically dropped rates. So how are we looking? I go, well, the easiest way is it was already built in, right?
It
was a projection of it, right? And you can actually see, and let me see if I can find it. There's a dot map of Fed future rate drops that gives you kind of perspective on, I guess, what the group is going to, or when they think they're going to drop the rates, whatever. But I can't find it right now. But it gives you perspective.
Okay, I mean, like if you look at the latest economic numbers that came out, like we've had the largest number of layoffs in tech sector since 2009. So, I mean, that kind of leads you, if there's more job layoffs, which could be because of AI, it could be because of technology evolving, it could be because people are becoming more efficient, or it could be because the economy is faltering. But regardless of the issue, it is happening. So you may either see one or two things. You may see the Fed step in right in November for some strange reason and cut rates again, or you may see them wait all the way into the December, January timeframe and then cut them another 50 basis points. I think whatever it goes, it's still going to be cut 50 basis points. I think the next cut's 50 basis points because regardless of who wins the election, either party is going to want the rates cut because it spurs instant help.
And well, I mean, the way I was talking to someone about this the other day is I would think that if the Democrats win, they've kind of talked about grant programs like that for first-time home buyers and stuff like that again are going to raise pricing, right? Because you're going to have free money to push up the pricing. And then with the Republicans, I mean, they're going to want less basically lower rates. They'll probably figure out other ways to kind of assist. So I think either way, we'll probably see values go up, especially with the rates going lower.
I think so. If you remember back when Obama was elected and he gave everybody $6,000 credit to buy a house, and what it did to housing,
was it 6 or was it 8?
I don't remember. It could have been 6 or 8. I thought maybe even 10.
Yeah, it might have been 10 because I actually bought my first home when that happened. That was in 2008. That was right after, or 2008, 2009, I think it was. Yeah, it was it pushed you into buying because you're like, dude, it's free money. I better buy it.
Maybe it was 10. It was 7,500. I just looked it up. So we were both wrong.
But it built up that demand.
Yeah, I mean, it did help.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely. So people ask, okay, well, what should we do? How is this going to affect us, the market? So you can see the clicker below. If you watch the clicker, you'll see that inventory's gone up. Pending has gone down a little bit, right? Just like I've been getting a lot of text messages of people going, oh, well, the Fed dropping the rates. Oh, rates are going to be better, right? Because again, not everyone's listening to this channel, right? Not everyone's watching this channel, right? So they don't know that the rates are already where they are. Now they're probably going to go lower in the near future, but the masses are like, rates are better now because the Fed dropped the rates, right?
And it didn't help that Wednesday I saw 80% of posts were like, Fed dropped the rates are lower, and it's like nobody seemed to realize that all that bad information went out.
But the thing is what's going to start to do is it might start dialogue, right?
It might
say, oh yeah, okay, well now if rates are better, I better go talk to my lender to actually see what they are. Oh, they're not 8% anymore. Oh shoot, okay, fantastic. Let me actually maybe look at buying now instead of later, right? So there's going to at least start that dialogue. Now it's a matter of how long that dialogue churns into motivation, right? To purchase. I still think that we're going to see that uptick after the holidays. I still think that, but you never know. Dialogue can push motivation a lot quicker, right? So we'll see how that kind of plays it, because there is a slowdown to this market.
I think it's going to actually be typically that. I think me and you talked about this last week, that they did that data study of 39 million studies of home transactions, and the cheapest month to buy a house is October.
Yeah,
that was 39 million closed deals.
Yeah,
I actually think this November and December it's going to be quite busy, and I think there's going to be a lot of good deals during that time, because there's going to be a lot of confusion going on. And confusion creates opportunity.
There's going to be value. There's properties. Right now where you're looking at closing cost credit, right? And then the question is, right, do I buy down the rate? I've had this conversation with a lot of people. It's like, okay, well, you're buying at one price, or right, you buy at that maybe a little bit higher and you ask for a closing cost credit. Now you're buying down the rate, so your monthly payment is good. And if it's a 2-1 buy down, right, if you're getting that, if you refinance in 6 months for the next, you can use the credit that you're going to pay for the buy down to offset basically your refinance, right? So there's ways of moving the numbers around to make the monthly payments seem pretty palatable, especially when you're talking about values or deals can be had right now.
Let's just say this one thing, just so people realize. You have to realize FHA dipped down. If you have a 740 FICO, FHA rates dipped down to 5.25, APR 0.125 higher. But you have to look at that. If you're a home buyer and you are searching for FHA, we reached our lowest point the other day. That was insane. Now,
FHA and VA,
FHA and VA, same thing, amazing right now. If you have a 740 FICO or up, you are getting the smokingest best deal in a long time.
Yeah. So, I think the best thing you can do, even if you're not looking to buy now, you're looking to buy next year, is talk to whatever trusted lender that you have, right? And figure out what's doable and what's possible, right? And then from there, you can assess the market, understand, see the market, see what's going on. But at least knowing what's possible is going to help you out immensely.
Yeah, it's not right now. It's a great time to buy. Is it a good time for you personally? Does it work for you personally? Does it work for you financially? Does it work for you overall? Because there's never a perfect time to buy.
Yeah, there's gonna be people that are watching, like, you know what, I still want to hold off till next year. You gotta think. most people don't want to be the first movers to the market, right? Right, because you're always thinking, okay, like, is it going to
Unless
keep
you're
going
an
up? Is it going to go down?
iPhone user or an iPhone product.
Well, that's a lot of buildup.
Yeah,
But all right, we get before we're at our 10 minutes. Or this is our number. Okay, who do you think is going to win the World Series this year?
The Lakers.